Oh, can I cuss?
Oh my
Sorry.
gosh, sorry.
Fuck
I don't
yeah.
know if. Okay.
I can't wait to get my first stalker. I think that'd be so fun.
Oh, oh, sorry. We didn't mean to expose you. Oh my gosh.
I wasn't there. I
She
wasn't
from
even,
Atlanta.
but
They got black people.
no, that is not even an
So
excuse.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine if you would have been like, who's TLC? I've never heard of them.
I'm like,
yeah.
who is that? Who is that?
And that tells me what kind of parent you're gonna be. Is that?
So I was
No, she
like,
got the ick.
I got the ick a little bit.
Yeah, she got the ick. She was like,
They're fucking VIP. Welcome to Unshut, a place where if at any point you feel like you need to shut the up, don't.
hello.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, can you hear us okay?
Yes, amazing.
Awesome.
How are you guys today?
we're doing so
Good. How are you?
good.
I'm doing good. I'm excited.
Same.
Yay,
Thanks so
us
much
too.
for having us.
No, thank you guys for making time for me. I'm like, there, look at them doing charity work today. I love it.
No, oh my gosh, it's not charity.
No, we're so excited. We love a good conversation. We will talk until someone shuts us up. So this is great.
First of all, I have to start off by telling you guys this. So every morning before an interview, I get hyped to music. Yesterday,
Yeah.
I was laughing with my partner because I'm like, babe, I have such a hard time listening to their music and not fucking crying. I'm like,
Oh, oh my gosh, that's so nice.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, not the hype up music. It's
Yeah.
not a good hype up music.
you know what's so funny about that is that the irony of it is back in my choreography days, and I used to do a
Mhm.
lot of work with Les Mills. I used to be on stage teaching like body combat and
Oh,
shit.
cool.
The way I
Yes.
would get hyped would be to ballad music. So I would listen to Celine
Okay.
Dion, just get really zen. So it's funny
Yeah.
because this is how I do get hyped. I get hyped by crying my heart out. So
I so relate to
Oh
that
my
on
God.
such a deep level. Yes, I feel that.
I love it. So thank you guys so much for making the time. Like literally, I've been so excited for this for a hot minute. So thank you.
Gosh, thank you for having us. We're so
Of
excited.
course. And we are not wasting time, you guys. Like, we are jumping right into getting to know you guys a little bit more. I've got some fun shit we're going to do together. No crying allowed at all.
Got it.
Okay.
Done.
Danny, you grew up in Atlanta, right?
I did. Yes.
Have you by any chance ever heard, and I know we all know who TLC is, right?
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine if you would have been like, who's TLC? I've never heard of them.
I'm like,
Yeah.
who is that? Who is that? Yeah.
It's not a very popular song of theirs, but I was curious to know if you have ever heard the song Dirty Dirty by TLC.
Mm-mm.
I don't think so.
It's not a very popular song and a lot of people don't know it, so I'm not surprised by
Okay.
that answer. There is a song called Dirty Dirty, and the second I read that you were from Atlanta, there's a part in that song that's like, ATL, I'm an Atlanta girl. I was born and raised to come and rock your world. And I was like, this is so her. And it totally made me think of like your sound and the way you sang in Legend. It gave me like very like, yeah, yep. Yes, I'm a super fan.
Oh my gosh, that's such a throwback song. Wow.
That is,
Yeah.
I can't believe you just name dropped that on us. That's the coolest thing. Thank you. And also, I'm absolutely going to listen to that. Anytime a song like mentions Atlanta, Hot Atlanta, ATL, it's like, yeah, it's a sense of pride. I
It
love
really
that.
is. I feel like Atlanta like took over the music industry in like I don't know, like the early 2000s, like all of
Totally.
like Usher and like the like the
Yes.
that whole crew.
So thank you for that homework. I will absolutely listen to that. And you just made me feel so much cooler than I am. So thank you.
No, you totally are. And it was so funny because it's like literally, and there's a part in that song that's a little bit more vocally. I won't sing it to you because then you'll definitely hang up on me. But it was definitely like, wow, I could totally see her doing this. And so yeah, so Dirty Dirty ATL, hit it up, okay?
Perfect. I wrote it down. Got it. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm super excited about that. I know that you're the oldest sibling of five.
I am. Yes.
So something I wanted to do with you just to kind of get into like the thinking quick on our toes type of mood, okay, or vibe. I'm going to ask you to describe each sibling in one word, okay?
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
So describe
Okay.
the youngest,
Youngest, fiery,
the middle child,
empathetic.
the second youngest,
Wait, is this Maddie?
Cammy.
No, I already did. Second.
Second youngest. Oh wait, yeah, wait, who's the technical middle is Maddie.
Yes. Shoot. So this would be which one?
This would be Cammy.
Cammy. Oh. Oh. Soft.
I went out of order on purpose.
I think I was answering just up and I was like, shoot, wait, that's not the middle. It's
No,
okay. It's okay.
I
I'll stick
I
with my answers.
I totally went off on purpose because there has been, so I am one of five as well. And
No
we
Wow.
way.
yeah. And so we always get on this debate on like who gets forgotten the most. And it's like, well, it's either the middle child or the second youngest. Which one is it? So that's
Yeah.
always our
Yeah.
debate. So
That's
That's
hilarious.
the exact same debate in our family. That's so funny.
I
Oh my
love
gosh.
it. What about the sibling that made you a sibling?
I would say this one is feisty, not fiery,
Feisty.
feisty.
Feisty. Yeah.
What about yourself?
Oh no. Oh gosh, I'm so bad at this. Compassionate.
I love that because that's so the older sibling. It's like talk about like truly
Okay.
like understanding, having to deal with all of the little one's emotions. My oldest sister is the best.
Yeah.
She's so compassionate. I love that.
Oh, oh, that's so sweet.
Where are you in the order?
Yeah, where do you fall?
I'm the middle.
The
Okay.
middle. Oh, fun.
I mean, I like to say the middle is the best.
It's a fun one. I like the middle position. That's fun. Feel like you get to see both worlds from each of the ends and just like kind of watch the chaos ensue around you.
I do always say I think it's why I am so versatile when it comes to different personalities. And it's for that exact same reason, just being able to see the
Oh
two
my gosh.
younger, the two oldest. So
Oh my
Totally.
gosh.
Oh, I get that.
So who do you feel like gets forgotten the most?
I would probably say the second youngest for sure.
Okay. That's fair.
Mhm.
We have to tell them that.
Yeah.
And I think it's only because he also happens to be the most reserved out of all of us. They're just kind of off in their own world. So it seems. And so, Colton, are you the only
Yeah.
child or do you have siblings?
So I grew up the only child. I grew up with basically just me and my mom. We traveled around a lot because she is a journalist and she was like making her career happen basically like as I was going through like elementary school through high school. So yeah, I grew up with just me and her, but I do have a half sister who's 9 years older than me, but we've never like lived together. Like it's, we're not, I didn't grow up experiencing like actually having a
Siblings.
sibling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was actually curious about that too, because so I moved around a lot with my siblings. My mom was also a single mom, my childhood. And so I have been so curious to ask you in regards to your mom being a journalist, having to move around a lot. How do you think moving around so much has helped you in a positive way?
Yeah, kind of similar to what you said about being a middle child and being able to like talk to and like interact with a lot of people. It was the same for me because so we started off in like I think Mississippi, and then we were in Ohio, then we were in Alabama, then we were in Oregon, then we were back in Ohio. And each time like I went to new schools. So like every time I got to a new school, I had to kind of start over and like make new friends. And it was every like year and a half to every 2 years ish. And it got to the point where like it wasn't sad anymore, which is a weird thing to say. Like I wasn't like I definitely like got close to people and had my like little close friends and stuff as kids do. But I was like, I don't know, I think like moving around helped me be able to like, meet different people. Like especially like the move from Alabama to Oregon was like culture shock. Cause I remember I started school in Oregon and I think I was in fifth grade or something like that, fourth grade. And I was being introduced to the class because it was the middle of the school year. And the teacher was like, oh, she asked me some question. And I was like, yes, ma'am. And the whole class laughed. And I was like, oh, why are they laughing? And she's like, no, you guys, he's not like being sarcastic. That is what people in the South do. They say, yes, ma'am,
To
yes,
be
sir.
polite.
And the
Yeah.
kids thought I was like being like a clown, like being like, yes, ma'am, like whatever. And so I feel like, yeah, that experience definitely helped me to like just interact with people who are very different from me and kind of just like learn to blend in.
I love that. When people ask you, where did you grow up? Where do you go to with that question? Because I moved around so much, but most of my childhood was in LA, but I was born in Guatemala. And so
Mm.
when people
Oh,
ask,
fun.
like, where did you grow up? I immediately go to LA because it's I have the most memories there. I was very little when we moved to the
Yeah.
Mhm.
States. So I've been curious to ask you that, like, where does your mind go when someone asks, Colton, where are you from? Or where did you grow up?
So yes, if people ask me where I'm from, I'll say like my family's from the South because that's where all my
Mhm.
family is there. So every summer I went to like Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama. Like I went back down south. But for like where I grew up, I say Ohio because that's where I went to high school. It's like those are like the people that I'm still in touch with from my childhood are from high school. So that's That's what I would say, Ohio.
That's awesome. Do you ever go back to Ohio?
I did for a while. So when I was in high school, I was in my high school's acapella group, which is really nerdy, and it's like a very, I mean, if anyone's ever been in acapella, like they understand it's like it's a thing, it's a community.
Boy, is it. I did not know that. And I'm just gonna interrupt real quick. We went back to see his like high school group was performing at an acapella festival they were having there. You would have thought Usher walked in. Like these people lost their minds for his high school acapella group, and they'd been out of high school for a while at this point.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
I was like equally just like 5% cringed out, and I was like, wait, oh no, I did not know. But then 95% of me was like so excited because I was like,
she got the ick.
I got the ick a little bit.
Yeah, she got the ick.
No, but it was so cool. They loved them, and like I remember being in high school and obsessing about things, and this was like that was our Super Bowl. This was their thing. So
yeah, I went back for a while for that, but I haven't been back in a minute now, just because it's hard to get there from LA. Yeah, where I live now, and it doesn't feel like there's a reason to go. Although
you don't have family there anymore, so
no one lives there anymore. So it's
Okay, I'm totally gonna go off my notes here because I find it so funny that you talked about it becoming an ick, or it was an ick, right?
Yeah.
So I've never really talked about this before, but my partner and I have this like ongoing joke since we met years ago about how we're both not musicians at all. We don't sing, we don't do anything like that. And we have always made jokes for whatever reason. I don't even know where it stemmed from, but we always talked about like, could you imagine if you go out on a date with someone and they pull out a guitar and start to sing to you? Like, would that be an ick, or would you be like, this is so romantic? So now I'm totally curious because you're both musicians. You're both not only dating, you're engaged, you're together in so many different aspects of your life. Who sang to who first? Even though I know you connected through music first, but how do you break that like?
That's such a good question. Hilarious that you guys have that ick or just the talk about like, oh my gosh, what if that happened?
That would definitely be an ick.
It would definitely be an ick for us. I'm so glad you said that. We watch TV shows, like we're such reality TV fans, and we feel like for some reason in the dating show world, it's so like the producers love to give a guy a guitar. Like they love to just be like, oh, well, sing to them, like sing to the person you like. And we're like, no, that like it seems so romantic in a movie or in like a real TV show, but when you actually do it, it's so cringe to me.
Yeah, but it's different. Like a show like Love Is Blind, for instance, like it kind of makes sense because they are dating and alone, like they're sitting in those pods for hours and hours and hours and stuff. So I'm like, for that situation, yeah, like I could see it make sense, and like you probably forget the cameras are on you. Yes. But if it's like what's the Bachelor?
Yes.
And like bro just gonna whip out a guitar, like
yes.
No sir.
Yes.
No sir.
Yes. Yes. Like, and that's also just like personal to us. I'm like a nervous laugher. So if someone did that to me, I just feel like I would laugh. It absolutely works for people. Like they feel so romantic. They feel like it puts them in a movie. It's just not, it's not for me.
I have a distinct memory of this guy was dating my mom or trying to date my mom. When I was like, have I told you this? I had a piano in my room because I was like, I think I was in 7th grade at the time, and I was trying to like learn piano, just like I like music, whatever. And so he was like, oh, you have a piano? And he like went into my room, weird. And then my mom like was with him. She's like, oh, and he's like, it started like singing to my mom, and she fell out at this man. It was so rude. We never talked about this. And like now that I like as a child, I was like, don't do that because women don't like that. But like it's so funny looking back. So I'm like, that's so rude. She laughed in his face. She was like, ah. And he was like, no, I sing at weddings. She was like, she was like, really? This man.
I love your mom. I love your mom already.
She's the literal best. She is.
Yeah, so definitely an ick.
Yeah.
But for us, we were in a like singing, like basically Glee was our school that we paid our life savings to go to.
Correct.
And so we both sang in class. Yeah. So we didn't have to like sing for each other. Like it was like,
yeah, we got that out of the way in front of a group of like 15 people instead. It wasn't just us. That was good.
I love that. This is just a very first impression basis, right? I don't do a lot of deep diving into guests that I have on. I really like to just spontaneously get to know them through my perspective and through my eyes. But something that gave me an impression about you guys is just truly how the alignment of balance just seemed to be so natural with you guys. I mean, and just in the sense of something as early on as you having 4 other siblings, you not really growing up with siblings, the alignment of the setup has already kind of been there. And I love it.
Yeah. Oh, that's That's so beautiful to look at it like that. It is really true. We are very, very opposite in so many things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some people see that as a challenge to overcome, which it absolutely can be.
Yeah, for sure.
But it did for us. It worked. Like everywhere I lacked, he absolutely excelled. And hopefully vice versa. And, you know, like it just really seamlessly came together. And specifically, he is one of the most like self-confident people I had ever met. And for me growing up extremely insecure, that was where it really like just shattered my world. Like, and he was never arrogant. There's such a difference between confidence and arrogance. And he just believed in himself. And that like just rocked my world. I had never met someone like that before.
And also with her having so many siblings and me growing up with an only child, like naturally, especially her being the older sibling, she's gonna be more like compassionate, kind of like you said. And the way that she viewed the world really helped me see like, okay, like I wouldn't say like, yeah, I'm not like a mean person or anything, but like as an only child, you can be selfish in your approach to the world. And I think that she helped me be like, oh, you should pay attention to how this person might be feeling in a room. Hey, like you said this comment, like even little things like you started talking over your friend talking. Like, did you notice that? And I was like, oh, no, I didn't notice that. Like, and I'm like, I've learned so much like into my adulthood to be like, oh, you have to like cater to people's feelings. And like, it's important and it makes people feel like seen and heard. And that's like, it is a really good feeling to know that the people around you feel good about themselves.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think that's translating in your lyricism and your music, because I also, what I take from that is hearing that you've adapted to that self-awareness, that Danny, you having that self-awareness of, you know, having siblings, having to be cautious with your siblings and their feelings, being compassionate, like you said. It's something that, you know, you don't really grow up with having, but also being able to take his, you said it perfectly, it's not arrogant, but it's that confidence, it's that delusion in your own craft, right? And being able to also apply that into yourself. I love it. And I think that is what's translating into this magic you're creating. So I love it.
Oh,
thank you so much.
Of course. I know, Colton, you said something a little bit ago about having to adapt to when you went to this new school. And something I had on here was you both met in Nashville and moved to LA, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
In your opinion, how are those two cities similar and how are they complete opposite?
Ooh, such a good question. This is hard because I know there's like this big debate. The Nashvillians and the LA people will get very upset either way, but LA, I would say the hustle is very different. Not necessarily in a good way, sometimes in a very unhealthy way, but we were at the point in our career where we were ready to just a little bit burn out, but not burn out, but we were ready to just hit the ground running. And for us, at least in the genre we were in, specifically the circles we were in, there wasn't quite room to grow anymore. We feel like we had hit a ceiling because people forget Nashville is a small town.
It is, yeah.
Which is the part we loved about it. It's very homey, it's very comfortable. So I would say the difference is the hustle to me. There's a different type of hustle in Nashville and LA. Again, not better or worse, but the biggest similarity, what would you say?
I don't know. This is like such an interesting question
Yeah.
about like similarities because it's really about the people that you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
And we've been lucky in LA that we have not surrounded ourselves around like fake ass people. Oh, can I cuss?
Oh
Sorry.
my gosh, sorry.
Fuck
I don't know
yeah.
if like okay. Sorry. Yes. We haven't like we haven't been around the whole like, oh, these people are fake. And it's because we just like we're not really keen on those types of people in general. Like we just don't vibe with them. And so in LA, like we've been able to make like have a good community of people as well as in Nashville. Like I feel like we have good friends. So I don't know. Like I feel like they're more different than they are similar.
Agreed.
Like Nashville is such a much easier place to live
Oh my gosh.
than LA. Like truly, like I mean, like survive like groceries, like just like rent. Like it's so much like easier. But LA has so much like culture. There's so many places to go just in California in general that we still haven't scratched the surface of. So yeah, I don't even know how they're similar.
Yeah, I don't know if I would, in a beautiful way. I love it.
Yeah.
The traffic is also a big difference. I would trade tomorrow.
Nashville's traffic's gotten bad.
Not as bad.
Not as bad. Not nearly as bad. Not for as long.
You said you grew up in LA?
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah,
So
he
I love
does.
talking to people that know. That will make you a hideous person on the inside. That will just make you feel rage like you've never felt before. And yeah.
I think you're explaining it so perfectly, though, because I do think that going back to something you said a minute ago, Danny was talking about the intention, right? You were ready to hit the ground running, right? And I think that in anything in life in general, your intention is truly what determines the outcome of what you're about to take a leap of faith in. And something I love to preach to people is we don't often recognize that when you surround yourself with the right people, we forget that you attracted those people in your life So it's truly a reflection of the intention of why you're surrounding yourself with that. So I think that, you're explaining it so spot on without even trying. So
Oh my, well, you just said it so much more beautiful than I could. Yes, that.
And you live in Texas now, right?
yeah,
What city in Texas?
Austin.
Oh, fun. Yeah,
Oh,
we went to Austin for the first time second time
yes.
for South by a couple months ago.
We loved it. It was
It's so
fun.
fun. It's such a fun. It feels like a good mix of like LA and Nashville. Just from the little bit we spent there. Like it's very like it's got like the homey feel of Nashville, but it's still got like its own like buzz around it too. That's fun.
And it feels like progressive, like things are moving. There's culture, there's art, there's music. I feel like that's the only place in Texas I could like see myself living, but I don't know much about the other cities, so I don't know.
No, it's so true. So many people have this misconception that like Texas is very either conservative or they're not very open-minded. But truly, my experience with Texas has been so refreshing because it's not that. Even the older people are very like, they just don't give a shit. They're very like, awesome, just do you, go
Yeah.
on about your day. And I love it. But I think that the mix between Nashville and LA being somewhat of what, is Austin culture is actually a really good way to describe it. So,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yay. Oh, that's fun. Love that.
so next time you guys are out in Austin, hit me up, and now people will know what city I'm in. So I can't wait to get my first stalker. I think that'd be so fun.
Oh. Oh, sorry. We didn't mean to expose you. Oh my gosh.
Cut it out, cut it out.
No, I'm about to put my address on the screen. People send me your Danny, I loved your concept of 20% and not 50-50. I think I watched a clip of a red carpet where someone asked you something very quickly and you talked about the 200%. Do you recall that interview I'm talking
Yes.
about? So when it comes to partnership, as two creatives, how do you respond to each other when one is ready to go all out and the other one is not feeling it?
Ooh, these questions are great. I think a little bit back to like the us being very opposite of each other. We numerous times have run into a situation where even like if it's a big business decision and let's say Colton is like, I really think we should take this leap. I think we should do it. And I'm like absolutely pumping the brakes. I don't think it's right. At the end of the day, we are two parts of this whole. So we do have to equally, at least one of us feel like mostly convinced. But I think because we respect each other's opinion enough, it's never like I'm putting my foot down, we're making this decision. It's always probably too long drawn out of a conversation, but we will talk for hours ad nauseum about something. It's never like a sales pitch of like, this is why we should do it in X, Y, Z. It's usually like, okay, well, why do you feel hesitation? Let's first start with that. I credit this to Colton like all over the internet, but for not being in like many relationships before me, he was a weirdly great communicator. I almost think it helped him to not be in so many relationships to figure out the games. Like he just didn't play games. So he was very straightforward and very blunt about what he wanted. And then when I wasn't like that, he was like, well, why wouldn't you just tell me what you're feeling? I don't understand. So it really taught us how to communicate as a couple, which definitely bled into our business decisions together. We always will hear each other out.
Yeah. And I think when it comes down to like making a decision, we hear each other out. It's a good way to put it because we will give something a chance. Like very rarely are there things that are like we have to decide and we do it once. Like it might be like, well, do you want to pursue like this opportunity? Do you want to pursue like this partnership or whatever and whatever it is? And if one of us feels really strongly about it, either way, then we're like, okay, let's try it. And then what we'll raise be like, before we try it, this is why I'm hesitant.
Yes.
And then through the experience, then the other person can be like, oh, I see why you were hesitant there. Like, we don't need to do this anymore. Like your feelings were totally like right in that. Or it's like, or the other person be like, I was hesitant, but now I'm seeing the benefit of this.
Now I understand why we needed to do this.
Yeah.
I love that. What do you guys do as individuals to separate, like, well, we're burnt out? Let's say when you're working on a new song, you're writing, you're recording, you're editing, you're doing vlogging. What do you guys do individually to kind of take a little pause at that to remind yourself, I am also still an individual and it's not always truly honing in on this partnership that's also creative but personal?
Yes.
I feel like I keep just talking about how opposite we are, but that was a learning experience and we have not perfected that at all. I recharge alone. Colton is much more social than I am. So finding that balance, especially in a couple, usually means we should separate. Like he could go out with friends. I need to lay in the bed and watch YouTube for 3 hours and not talk to anyone. Like it's a very different recharge, but sometimes that's hard because we are running a business. And exactly like you said, separating us as a couple, us as business owners, and us as people separate is very blurry. Like I would say that's probably our biggest weakness as business owners.
That's biggest thing we struggle with. And just like as a couple, it's like, the other week, like I went out with some of our friends by myself because she was out of town. And I was like, oh yeah, oh yeah, I like need to like go out with friends, like specifically newer friends or newer people by myself because it's like, oh, Danny's not here. Like I don't know. It's almost like a comfort to like have that person there. And it's like she talks about all the time. It's like, yes, we have to also remember we're individuals. Like we have to like be our own people and like
Hmm.
and pour into ourselves and like grow as people too, because that's really important.
Hmm.
So yeah, we still haven't figured it out. We're just like,
We
okay,
will let you know when we
yeah.
figure it out. Yes.
Because yeah, especially working and like doing everything together, it's hard to not like our schedules are the same. So of course, like we're gonna go same places, but we're trying. Like she can go to a girls' night. I can go hang out. Yeah, it's like
But we do have to be very intentional about scheduling like date time, like
yes,
absolutely time to date and not talk about music and turn our phones off. And
yes.
because
Go
we
see a
would,
movie. Go to yeah,
yes. And
yeah.
just like, disconnect and pretend that we're not business partners for the night and just like
Hmm.
date each other.
Because otherwise, it bleeds into the business too. It's weird. So like we're self-managed, and so like we also like have to deal with the business part of our business, which is can be scary because yeah, that like we there's always something to talk about.
Always.
So it's yeah, we have to separate.
Long answer short, we haven't figured it out.
Yes.
But I think that is why people are so infatuated and attracted to you. I talked about this very recently where this industry demands very cookie cutter, right? Like, and I think that it's so
Mhm.
refreshing to hear people in this industry, in this business, and even taking music out of it, but just owning a business in general or branding, because
Mhm.
you are a brand. It's so refreshing to hear
Mhm.
people say, yeah, we haven't figured it out yet. And the harsh truth is that maybe 30 years from now, you're still going to be figuring it out. And I think there's beauty in that. So I
Yeah.
love that you guys are open about that, you know?
Oh, thank you.
Of course. Before we talk a little bit more about your journey with covers or just more music in general, which, in my opinion, the way I described you to my partner was they cracked the code. And I'll explain that because I think there
Mm.
was a song, and I'm so pissed at myself for not writing this down on my notes, but it's an older song. And there was one that's like, I don't want to sing in front of you guys, but it's like people killing, people
No,
dying.
do it,
Yeah.
please.
Oh,
um,
where's the love?
Where's the
Where's the
love?
love?
Yes.
Yes. I heard that song and I was like, wow, I really love that song. And I looped it 2 to 3 times before I realized, why do I know that song? And I
Oh
didn't
yeah.
realize it was a cover. And it was in that moment I
Yes.
realized they have cracked the code on not making covers sound like covers, you know?
Oh my gosh.
So
That's
Oh
so
my
nice.
gosh. Wow.
yes, so that's
That's
big
really sweet.
kudos.
Very
Of
kind.
course, yes. Big kudos to you guys for that. Was there ever a point that you could recall being nervous of showcasing your own music to the world and it not being received the way people were receiving your covers?
Oh
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Oh geez, that was a big
Every
struggle.
day, every single day. Yeah.
Yeah, because like with the cover thing, we just so she's always loved YouTube, and she was like, I really think we need to do YouTube, and we were like, okay, let's do it, and like this could be a good way to connect with people because we were still like relatively young in our music writing journey too, so we were still trying to like figure out our sound, and so we started doing the covers and we started doing them every week. Like in 2019, we did like one cover a week, like on a schedule we did it, which was really hard. And then when people started to like the covers, we're like, oh, this is amazing, this is so great. And then yeah, I feel like all the songs we put out, like people, it wasn't received as well because there
Hmm.
were no covers. But I think what kept us going is the fact that we have something to say too. And like we love being storytellers and being vehicles for other songs, but we also have our own words to say too. So we just kept putting out music regardless of the fact that our covers were more popular.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a fear. It's still a fear.
Every day it's a fear. You can
Yeah.
hide a little bit behind a hit. Like it's like
Yeah.
even if, we flub a note here or two, whatever, it's still a great song that's already proven. That's so much easier and so much less vulnerable than being like, here's our heart and soul, also our voices.
Yeah.
Just scarier.
Which I love this, and I'm so covered in goosebumps right now because this is something that's been pivotal for me in my life as a 34-year-old
Mhm.
old man and just in general, where it's truly up to us to take our fears and either use them as weapons or use them to our advantage. And here you are.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I'm like, duh, it's no secret that I'm sure at some point you were nervous to put out your own original music, right? Like that's so vulnerable, that's scary.
Mhm.
Duh, we all know that. But to hear you also say, of what comes out of that fear, here you are creating even just something like the new anthem that people are going to be using in their weddings for the next 50
Oh,
years.
Oh
You
my
know, so
gosh.
your biggest fear is something that made you so nervous here. It just became one of your greatest hits, you know?
Oh my gosh. Okay, no, you said no crying, but I will cry on a podcast if you keep talking like that. I'll do it.
I just feel like you guys truly have figured out a way to not be the most obvious when it comes to vulnerability. And that's so hard to do in today's writing. Music is very,
Yeah.
it's very obvious. And something that has
Yeah.
become something that I talk about very often with some of my guests, which is why I invite them on to begin with, is because that open to interpretation, I feel like has kind of gotten lost in music. So when I do reach out to someone, it's because you've done just that. Just all the kudos all around to you guys for sure. Which brings me to my next question with you guys is, will the songs you've created that others use for their special day take a new meaning after you say I do?
Oh my gosh, I hadn't even thought of that.
Oh my gosh.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, because
Yes.
we won't actually know what that feeling is like until we've experienced it. So I can't imagine it would. It's kind of like, it seems like, obviously, because I haven't experienced it, the same concept of what people say, like when they have their first child, they're like, yeah, you don't understand. Well, I guess I kind of get it because we have our dog. And like, you don't get how much people love their dogs until you have your own dog and you're like, dang, I like love this dog so much. Like I would literally fight somebody over him.
You didn't know you were capable of that. And obviously you
Yeah.
love thing before, but then you're like, whoa, this is like, I didn't know this was in me to love something
Yeah.
this much. Yeah, I think it will. I got goosebumps when you asked that because I think when we're like saying I do, obviously our love story is our love story and it's always felt strong and passionate and like all consuming in my world.
Mhm.
But I think when we're like, standing up there and we're saying I do, and I'm picturing, because we've seen endless videos of people already using this song in their weddings, which is like the literal craziest thing to
Yeah,
me. I
pretty
cannot
crazy.
wrap my head around that. But yeah, it's like we're picking out our first dance song right now, and I'm just like, I want it to be so special and so perfect and encapsulate us. So the fact that people are using our voices, I'm just like, what in the world? Anyway,
Yeah.
but I think when we're having that moment, I could be like, oh, this is an even bigger honor than it felt like even before we had been here. So
Yeah.
absolutely, I think I'm already gonna lose my mind sobbing at our wedding, but I think the music part of it is going to be something that's like special between us that I don't think a lot of people around us will be like, why is she like absolutely, blubbering like an idiot? But I don't know.
I
It'll be
just think
special.
I think that is what makes it so special because it's like I've been curious about that since we confirmed doing this together because so many people on a daily basis is tagging you, posting this music. And I know that you guys are getting ready to start this new chapter in your life. And so it's like, whoa, like even if you wanted to use this song at your own wedding, like how do you even do that? Because it's being used with everyone else. So I can't wait to find out what you guys do end up using though.
Us either.
Say if you have any recommendations, please send
We've
them
been
to
taking
us.
all the recommendations. Yeah, we still can't figure it out. Like we just want it to be so special to us, especially doing music. Like there's almost like this own pressure that we put on ourselves that we're like, we don't want to look back and be like, oh, we should have used that song.
Yes.
Like we just like, but
we're trying to take the pressure off and just be like,
Yes.
it's a song. It will forever from that moment on, it will be our song. So let's
Yeah.
like make it a moment then. But yeah.
I love it.
That's
Well, I'm sure you guys will pick something so amazing. If you do get stuck, you know what? Just use Dirty Dirty by TLC. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Use it.
Yeah. Dirty, dirty, the ballot version.
Thank you. We should have known.
Yeah.
Exactly right. I have been trying for a few days trying to insert my name with your guys's leading up to this episode to draw inspiration on how we can shoot the shit together. So now we're jumping into that. So the first one I came up with was Mo Nico Mo Problems. So the first
Monico.
one
I knew you were gonna say Monico because that's so cool. I was like, Monico has to be it. Yeah.
Stop.
That's
Yes.
hilarious.
So with that came that rhyme like more of you guys, more problems. So the first problematic, which is not really a very problematic question, but I've been so curious to ask you guys this. As a gay male in a relationship, something that's very common in our world, we are asked,
Yeah.
who's the top, who's the bottom? Right? And don't worry, I'm not going to ask you guys anything so invasive. We don't do that here, but
Not here, not here.
no, but I've been so curious to ask you guys, what is something that you guys have been asked about that left you completely stunned when it came to being interracial in a
Oh my
relationship?
God.
You know?
How much time do we have on the podcast?
Yeah. A girl that we went to school with who was, I thought, my friend, but, and this, whatever. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, we had been recently started dating. I was getting a drive home from school, and this friend of ours, again, she's still a friend, but just, Ignorance is just deep rooted. Sometimes you just can't, whatever. She was asking me like, oh, how's it going with Colton? I was like, oh my gosh, I really think I like him. And she said, has he met your parents yet? And I was like, yeah, oh my gosh. And they were like, what'd they say? And I was like, well, that's so, and it's not like I wasn't there. I wasn't
She from
even
Atlanta.
but
They got black people.
no, that is not even an
So-
excuse.
So you were just like, you didn't think of it. Like you didn't, it was not a thing to you.
I wasn't in that wavelength. And so I was like, oh, they loved him. And her exact words were, "Ugh, I could just never.
Uh,
Dot, dot, dot. And I was in the car with one other girl and I was like, wait, never what? And she, no joke, was like, date a person. And I was like, is it a cuss word? Are we in the room with the, like, it was,
Yeah.
it was in that moment. I do remember that we were at this very religious, private Tennessee school. And I was like, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
like,
get where you at.
yes, yeah, I'm trying to think of that. That was a pretty crazy one. And that was so early on.
Mhm.
And now that we put ourselves on the internet, I won't even
Yeah, the
repeat some
internet
of them
is pretty crazy.
because that's more just like hate, but like, yeah, questions, I'm sure. And like you said, you've gotten, that is just like, it's just wild to me. Like
Yeah.
how do people have the audacity to think about, but it doesn't matter. That's a
Yeah.
whole other
No.
podcast. We have a whole other conversation about it.
Absolutely. And it's so crazy you say that because something I've also talked about on the pod before is how sometimes we don't share these experiences because they sound so made up, right? But even for me,
Yes.
like people have very nonchalantly, but like you said, very ignorant when they're like, so who's the guy and who's the girl in the relationship? I'm like, we're both
Like
dudes.
what? Both guys. Like what?
Yeah. So I've been
Yeah.
curious to ask you guys
Yeah.
that just because to me, it's just so obvious that when two people rock the norm, people don't realize just how ignorant they are. And so we need to bring awareness to that,
Yeah.
you know? So the second one I came up with was Mo Knee because it sounds like money.
Yeah, I kind of like that one.
Yeah, me too. I like this one too. I was like, all right, it's got some good sass to it. What is something you did not know was a big expense when planning a wedding?
The whole damn
everything.
thing. Like it's crazy. Like we were in absolute shock.
Like the amount of times we were like, should we just go to Europe and elope? Like just like truly every week we're like, is it too late? We're like 4 months out now. We're like probably too late. But I was gonna say, florals were shocking to me, but photo video really, really got us. Luckily, we have an amazing team now that like was in our budget, but we were getting 5-digit quotes back for a couple hours of photos.
Which is crazy.
That's wild to
Yes.
me.
Those things in particular shocked us, but basically everything shocked
Basically
us.
all of it, yeah.
That's so crazy. The third one I came up with was, and this one was just kind of silly to me, but it was called, in Spanish, there's a word called moco, which means booger. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to rock with this. So I came up with a couple of sticky
Moco.
situations just to see what are your thoughts on this. If someone wanted to come to your wedding, someone you've already invited, and they're like, hey, I want to propose to my partner at your wedding, is that a big no-no? Or because I've seen videos of this and I didn't know how to feel about it. So how would you guys feel about that?
I'm gonna go with my gut and say I would not be a fan of that. And maybe that makes me a bitch, but that's my day. And we've paid out the ass for this. And I want to be the moment that day.
Yeah, I also
Yeah.
think that the person, whoever's like getting proposed to, would probably not appreciate it because they'd be like, wait, they want a moment that's special for them too.
Yes.
Like, yeah. So I feel like whoever asked, I'd be like, oh, you probably don't want to do that. Like, you're
Oh my gosh. Do people actually do that?
it's a thing. Yeah, I've
Yes,
seen it.
it's a
thing.
big thing. And I was like, I do not know how I feel about that for that same reason. I'm like, it's my day, would not want that. So I think we're all on the same page about that. Yes, I
Okay.
love that. The second debate I came across on the internet, which was a very sticky situation for a lot of people, were Apple Watches. Are those proper accessories to wear to a wedding? I had never thought about this. I was like, wait, that's actually a
thought about it either.
debate. And so there was this huge debate on the internet that was like, Apple Watches, they're not formal watches. Oh, we wear Apple Watches to weddings now? I've never thought about it. So what's your take on it?
Yes.
We both have Apple Watches. We use it mostly for working out, but I wear mine pretty much all the time, and you can change the band.
Yes.
So I feel like if you have the band like a nice band on it, it's fine. I also recently heard people saying like they think people wearing Apple Watches like during conversations and stuff can be rude because they alert you when you get text. So even if I like take my phone and I put it away and I'm checking my Apple Watch all the time, like that. So I guess that
Which
could
you
be.
do.
I do. I like have to be cautious. Like, okay, if we're doing something, put it on.
And we're doing an unplugged ceremony. So I'm like, now I'm thinking about that. I'm like, oh, if we ask everyone to put their phones away, but they still are like, bloop, you know, if they get a little notification, that's a good, I did not know this was a debate.
Yeah.
I don't know if I care as much about that one.
Yeah, I don't care because for the unplugged ceremony, you mostly just don't want like people's phones in your pictures.
Yeah, like people up
People
like
holding up,
this.
which I never thought about until we were planning this one. It's like, oh yeah, you don't want like pictures of us like saying I do and kissing, and then like there's
Just everyone's
someone's
iPhone is up,
yeah,
just
iPhone,
holding.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love that thought went into that. I would have never thought about that either, of how that
Yes.
would look on photos. Now I'm going to
Yeah.
look at other people's wedding photos and be like, oh, they're on their
Yeah.
phones. Trash.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
Danny, how would you deal with someone showing up to your wedding in a white or wedding dress style dress? Or like,
But I've
let's say
had
you're,
night.
go
No, go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
Your best friend right now texts you a picture, and let's say she's a best friend but not in the wedding, but she's like,
Right.
hey, look at this dress I found, I want to wear this to your wedding. And you're like, what the actual fuck? What would you say?
So, yes, this is truly my worst nightmare because I am a non-confrontational person, but I would be so sad again because this is, in general, we're not selfish people, but I do plan on being selfish from sun up to sundown on my wedding day because it is the one time you do get to be absolutely selfish. I would probably make Colton deal with it.
I
I'd be
love
like, you
it.
got to tell her, you got to
I'd be
get
like, you
her.
can't be wearing that up in here. What? What? Have you been on the Google?
Yes. I hope to God people know that's like the one rule. Like even if you miss the formal versus black tie versus this, like everyone knows don't wear white,
White.
cream, ivory, right? Like people
Yeah,
know that,
people
right?
know it, but yeah, unless some people have like white wedding. I don't know.
Ugh.
There's all
I
kinds of
can't think
stuff.
about that because I'll age 5 years and I'll start getting grays and we can't do it. I need to wait till
No,
after the wedding.
no, and we definitely don't want that. So definitely don't want to age you out on the pod. The last thing I have for you guys, something that I wanted to do, which I think is so hilarious that you just said you are not a very confrontational person, because Danny, I am about to put you on the spot, both of you actually, but
Oh, no.
separately. And I do this because I like to make sure that one, I make a memorable experience for my guests. And I truly do take
Mhm.
pride in specifically some of the guests that I've had who have had like 20, 30 years of like media training and they've done so many interviews. I like to ask questions that aren't very traditional because interviews don't have to be lazy. We can shoot the shit, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes, love that.
I'm going to put you on the spot and we are going to do just a little bit of acting, a little bit of role playing. Okay.
Ooh.
And it doesn't have to be very lengthy. It doesn't have to
Okay.
be anything crazy. It's just quick getting to the point. The scenario I have for you, Danny, is you are breaking up with me because you found out I did not like Chipotle.
Oh, that's
So
Oh my gosh, this is real. I can tap into this. Okay.
let's do it. So in three, two, one.
Listen, I need to talk to you if that's okay. I think shared interests are really important in this relationship. And as you do know, I would sell my firstborn for Chipotle. And I don't understand because they revamped the queso. And it's just like every time I try to bring you there, like you just like don't like it and you just like really don't connect with me. And it's just not working because it's Chipotle or you, and I can't do it. That's thank you. And thank you.
That was incredible. Like I'm like, all right, I think she's gonna take a few minutes to gather her thoughts. I
No,
love it.
no. Ask me about Chipotle and I will be there. I will be ready.
I love it. And just for the record, everyone, there was no prepping for that. We did not prep.
there was no prepping.
Thank you. Let the record show. That was improv, baby.
That was so fucking good. And I'm actually creeped out a little bit. All right. Colton.
Okay, put Colton's hat on now. I'm ready.
Oh, it's about to be on, Colton. You are breaking up with
Okay, let's
me
go.
because I ordered tacos at Chipotle and not a burrito.
Oh, from my perspective, it just feels like you intentionally wanted to give me the ick because you ordered tacos and I didn't even know that was a menu item. And it's just really strange because how could you not want a burrito or at least a bowl with the tortilla on the side? And yeah, I just feel like this isn't going to work out because you don't be knowing how to order stuff. And that tells me what kind of parent you're going to be. Is that in the end?
So you heard it here first, people. The way you order at Chipotle reflects your parenting style. Get your shit together, okay?
Period. And don't get it twisted.
No, that's terrible.
You guys, that was so much fun. Seriously, thank you guys so much for just going along with it. You guys were amazing. And the last thing I want to say to you guys is that personally, you are not normal people. You are so VIP. You make VIP look like shit. Do you guys
Oh.
get that reference when I say that by any
No.
chance?
Wait, no, I don't think so.
I'll give you a hint. YouTube Olivia Rodrigo event.
Oh my God,
Oh.
you are the nicest human in the world. You like deep,
Oh,
you
the
know,
like the actual ball. Oh, the VIP that yeah, we laughed. Oh yeah.
you're like,
Oh yeah.
no, just like,
And
oh
regular.
my
Oh my
God,
gosh, that's hilarious.
I adore
Yeah.
you. That just made my
I like forgot all about that. Oh my gosh.
And by the way, I just saw that literally this morning about 10-15 minutes before jumping on the call. Because when I
Oh my
truly
gosh.
tell you, I try to avoid, first of all, I don't typically do the whole Instagram thing because some of my listeners will go to my followers and be like, oh, I know who the next guest is. And so I usually try to
Oh.
like stay away from social media before leading up to this.
Yeah.
And also because I don't want to overdo it, right? But I came across
Yeah.
that video. That was the last video I watched. And I was just like, what do you mean VIP are normal people? They're fucking VIP.
No, we were like the regular
We're like,
smegular.
where do the regular peasants go? That's
Yeah.
us. Oh my God, you are the sweetest. We adore
That's
you.
hilarious.
No, thank you guys so much for giving me your time. Time is the most valuable thing we have. So thank you. Lastly, tell everyone
you.
where they can find you, stream your music, stalk your lives. Hopefully we get the same stalker. That would be so sweet.
That
Yeah.
would be such a shared trauma that we could have together. That would be so fun.
Exactly. We could have our own like Hulu special in the future of this story on
Ooh.
Lifetime television or something.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, look at all of us in our acting. Like we would kill that. We need to do that immediately.
I always mess this up. Okay, so our name is Nico, Ni slash, it's a forward slash for if you're just listening. CO, and right? It's forward slash or backslash, forward slash, Ni slash. Just try them both. It'll come up one of them. And then, listen, we don't know why we put a slash in our name. It's too late to change it, but yeah, Ni slash CO. And then on socials, it's Ni.co_official because there's no slashes in the handles.
And that's all. We're on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all the things.
All the things. We're even on X.
We are on X. We're not active on there, but we do have an account.
I love it. And honestly, you guys don't need an outro. I mean, if you do not know who Nico is or have heard this amazing music that they're doing, you're living in a fucking rock. So yes.
You're so nice.
You just pumped us up for the day. Like egos are on 10.
Which apparently you need to do more of, Danny. No more being too nice. Go out and be a selfish bitch most of the days.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much. And we'll definitely, I can't wait to see
you.
everything you guys continue to do. So
Same to you.
Mo.
We
Thank
can't wait
you so
to
much.
watch more episodes and listen to more episodes of the podcast.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you guys so much.
Bye.
Hey, if you've made it this far, don't forget to follow the socials on the screen or in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. See you next week.